Hi everyone, today we're going to be working on multiplying fractions by fractions. Remember, these are still the 5th grade standards leading up to dividing fractions, so we just want to make sure that you have a good foundation for multiplying fractions first. So let's go ahead and get started. Just a reminder, you should be writing everything that you see, so you want to go ahead and head your paper in your composition notebook with multiplying fractions by fractions, 6.ns. Actually, that's wrong, in 1 second. There you go. You don't want the standard there because that was the wrong standard. So I'm just going to go over a couple review things first with regard to fractions. So what we know when we're looking at this 3/4 is that the 3 is a part, that is the numerator, and the 4 is the whole, that's the denominator. So a fraction shows us a part to whole. We also know that that black bar in the middle can be called a fraction bar or a division bar. Now, some of you don't know that that is actually a symbol for division, so I want to make sure that I point out that what that means is 3 divided by 4, where 3 is the dividend and 4 is the divisor. So you can see here that I also wrote it 3 divided by 4 horizontally as well. So I did make a little note here that says never write a fraction on one line. So what I mean by that is this right here. See how I have 3/4 all on one line with a nice little slant? Do not write your fractions that way, please. I will ask you to redo it. So we are going to say no there, and now I'm going to show you the correct way. The correct way is going to be to write on 2 lines so that when we start cross-simplifying, everything is in its place. So right here, we're just going to write the quick 5 steps that are going to be involved with multiplying fractions. So you want to rewrite the original problem, cross-simplify, which I know you don't know how to do just yet. Then you're going to multiply straight across with the numerators, straight across with the denominators, and then put a box around your answer. So it's pretty simple. Let's go ahead and go over some of the basics of cross-simplifying first. Actually, we'll look at 1/2 times 3/5. And so we get 1 times 3 equals 3, and 2 times 5 equals 10. Then we box our answer. All right. So now we're going to go ahead. Let's get past that screen again. Sorry. One more. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and look at a mini lesson on cross-simplifying, which is also called to cross-reduce. Okay, so I will typically use the words cross-simplify, but you'll also hear or see cross-reduce or reduce ahead of time, something along those lines. So we have 2/3 times 3/5. You want to go ahead and write that down. And what you're looking at here, you want to write these instructions. Now, let's see if we can cross-reduce. First, we're going to check the upper left corner and the lower right corner. So I've circled the 2 in red and the 5 in red. Is there any number that can divide evenly into 2 or 5? So the way that I typically do it is I first start with the small number and say, can the small number fit into the big number evenly? Can 2 go into 5 evenly? No, it can't. And there's really nothing else that we can divide them both out by evenly. So the answer for that one is no. Okay? Now we're going to go ahead and look at the 3 and the 3. So now it says to look if we can cross-reduce the other pair. So you're going to check the upper right corner and the lower left corner. So I've circled those 2 in blue. Is there any number that can divide evenly into 3 or 3? So obviously we can divide 3 out of both of those. So what we mean by that is we're going to take 2 times 3. We're going to take 2/3 times 3/5. And now we're going to go ahead and cross out the 3's and put a 1 there. Because what we've done is we've divided 3 out of each of them. So just a note, this is what you do ahead of time so that you can just multiply straight across once you're done and your fraction is already simplified. So I am requiring that you guys do cross-simplify. You absolutely, positively have to cross-simplify. It doesn't seem like it's going to make a big difference now, but as the numbers get larger, it's going to make a huge difference in time and effort and so on. So let's go ahead, and again, you want to make sure that you've written everything down on this page. So let's go ahead and have some practice on cross-simplifying. This first problem we have is 2/3 times 5/6. So we're going to look and see, can we cross-simplify the 2 and the 6? Yes, we can divide 2 out by both of them. So 2 divided by 2 gives us the 1, and 6 divided by 2 gives us the 3. So you get 5/6. 1 times 5 is 5. 3 times 3 is 6, because 3 and 5 can't be cross-simplified. So now we're going to look at 4/9 times 18. Well, 18 is a whole number, so the first thing we're going to want to do is put that over 1. Then we're going to look, 4 and 1, remember 1 and done means it's already simplified as far as it can go. So if you have a 1 in your cross pairs here, there's nothing else you can do. Then we're going to look at 18 and 9. Well, for 18 and 9, I can divide 9 out of both of those. Now, it's really easy to get confused about what you're dividing out. So you might want to make sure that you know 9 divided by 9 is 1, 18 divided by 9 is 2. So then you get 4 times 2 is 8, and 1 times 1 is 1. So you get 8 over 1, which is 8. Now we're going to look at 3/4 times 4/9. So here you'll see that we can actually cross simplify both sets. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. So we first divided 4 out of both of those. And then we can also divide 3 out of 3 and 9. So we get a 1 in the top left corner and a 3 in the lower right corner. Then what we're left with is 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 3 is 3. So we get a final answer of 1/3. Now we're going to go ahead and look, be sure that you've written everything down on this page. Now we're going to go ahead and look at a trickier example. These are the examples that kids miss on the cross simplifying. So the first thing that you want to look at here on 5/6 times 9/10, go ahead and write that down. Then you want to see, excuse me, the 5 and the 10, that's easy to see. You can divide 5 out by both. So we've crossed out the 5 and the 10. We have a 1 on the top and a 2 on the bottom now. But now when you're looking at the 6 and 9, the first thing you look at is, does 6 go into 9 evenly? It really doesn't. So then some people go, okay, well, that's it. You can't cross simplify. But when you look at it, you have to think, can I divide them both by 2? Can I divide them both by 3? And you actually can divide them both by 3. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to divide out 3 from each of those. So now you can see that we get 6 divided by 3 is 2. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So you can see here on the left where I've written out divided both by 3. And then what we're left with on top is 1 times 3 will give us that 3, and 2 times 2 is 4. So we've got 3/4 as our answer. So the 3 things that I have you guys do, or 2 things really, when checking to cross simplify, I ask myself, does the small number fit into the big number evenly? Can I divide both by 2? Can I divide both by 3, 4, and 5? Once you get to 5, it's probably a safe bet that you can't divide them out anymore. So that's a pretty good check. There will be some that are 7, but for the most part, 2, 3, 4, sometimes 5. All right, let's go ahead and again, make sure you've written everything down on this page. Let's go ahead and look at how to multiply fractions specifically. And actually, you don't need to write this down because you should have already written this down a couple slides ago. So let's just double check. Whoa, 1 second. Okay, so yeah, you already wrote all of that information down way back here. So no need to write it again twice. Let's go ahead and go on to our next slide. So we've got some examples here. We've got 1/8 times 3/4. So go ahead and try that now. Looks like we cannot cross simplify the 8 and the 3, and we can't cross simplify the 1 and the 4. So we're just going to multiply straight across. 1 times 3 is 3, 8 times 4 is 32. Then we have 3/5 times 5/7. We can't do anything with the 3 and 7, but 5 and 5, we can divide them both out by 5. So we're going to go ahead and do that here. We get 1s there. Then 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 times 7 is 7, so you get an answer of 3/7. Don't forget to write those 2 examples down. And now what I've left you here with, this was a really short video, these are some practice problems. So what I want you to do is in your composition book, right where you've taken these notes, I want you to pick at least 5 of these problems and complete them in your composition book. So you have 18 problems to choose from, and you can pick any 5 of them. If you want to do them all, you can, but I only am requiring that you do 5 of them. Please make sure that you number your problems so that when I go to check them, I can check to make sure that you got the answers correct easily. So number your problems. And that's all I'm leaving you with today, folks. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you in class.